Hello. Today it's the birthday of Louis Theroux, the broadcaster and journalist uh, who has been renowned for some really penetrating and interesting interviews of ordinary people and well-known people. And I think he spoke from experience when he gave a lecture recently to a symposium of broadcasters, suggesting that perhaps caution was not always a good thing. He suggested, and I think many of us will have noticed this, that particularly the BBC is often so careful not to offend anybody that it doesn't say things that perhaps ought to be said. And I think there are natural good reasons for that when the people who they might be offending by speaking out are the people who hold the purse strings. But the danger is that the reporting and the program content can become a little anodyne, and so it seemed to me to be a word of warning to all of us, really, that we can be overcautious in what we say because we're afraid of offending people, afraid of not being liked. And sometimes, as individual people in our ordinary personal relationships, there are things that really it would be helpful to say to the people to whom with whom we're relating, um, even though they might not like it. Louis Theroux in this lecture quotes George Orwell, who apparently said, "If liberty means anything, uh, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." And sometimes that's what we have to do. He also talks in the lecture about risk and about AI, and says that artificial intelligence is going to produce scripts and all sorts of bits of drama and television, which will no doubt be perfectly acceptable. But what AI will not produce is anything that's risky. AI is programmed not to run any risks, and what makes us human, he says, is the willing to take risks and the willing to do things which might reveal our vulnerability, which might lead to failure, but which actually are that's what makes us human, the willingness to take that risk and sometimes to grow through doing that, and to make significant changes by taking risks. And I think this is generally true in our lives. Sometimes we need to step out of the comfortable and do something which is slightly risky. But I think it does apply to this business of being willing to confront our friends, people that we know well, with things, truths that they might not want to hear. That's a risk, because we risk losing their friendship or their love, and sometimes it's a risk that we prefer not to take. But sometimes it's a risk that we should take.